For families with children, they often want a friendly pet or a breed that is a little bit more adaptable in a family type setting. What would be the best types of pets when you've got small children around?
Especially for small children, a lot of people think that very small dogs are your best option, where actually they're not. There's a lot of small dog injuries just from toddlers, falling on them. Also, their bones break very easy. They want to pick them up, they can drop them. So, small dogs really aren't recommended, and they don't seem to have the temperament to put up with children pulling on their ears and wanting to be a little bit more active than the dog actually wants to be.
Welcome to CooLife Podcast, brought to you by therealthingdating.com. www.therealthingdating.com. I'm Eva John. I'm a former candidate for local government. I was a children's television entertainer, and I love this world, and I believe we should take care of each other and have a lot of fun along the way. Welcome to Cool Life. Here we go. And welcome to Cool Life Podcast. I'm Eva John, and today we are continuing with part 3 of my 4-part conversation with Dawn Drake, Veterinary Technician. Dawn, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited that we are continuing this conversation with all the interesting details and information about pet care and issues with pet care. And can you tell me if someone has further questions for you, how can they reach out to you?
You can email me at animalcarewithdawn@hotmail.com.
Thank you. And Dawn, can you tell me what are some of the biggest mistakes that people make when they're choosing their pet for the very first time?
Very common mistake is not choosing the proper pet for your lifestyle. Like I think I had mentioned before, if your lifestyle is more sedentary and you're more of a couch potato, you're not going to want to get a lab or a high energy dog that requires daily activity to stimulate them mentally and physically. You're going to want to get like a Shih Tzu or something smaller that doesn't need or require too much exercise. Picking the right pet for your lifestyle is essential. And with things like birds, very important to do your research. So I actually have a bird, it's a parrot, and he can live up to in captivity 20 to 30 years. So you
Mm,
have to be prepared if you're in a place in your life that you have a good 20 to 30 years to give this animal. So you're not rehoming them.
right. Now, for the ideal circumstances, there's a big difference between someone who lives in a studio condo compared to someone who lives in a 4-bedroom ranch style home. If you are an apartment person, what are the things to look out for the kind of pet that you should avoid?
Well, again, if you, and I've seen many, many people who live in apartments that have happy and healthy pets. But one thing that you have to do is if you're an apartment or a condo, you have to physically walk them several times a day, taking them out to go to the bathroom, plus the stimulation of walking around. You can't just run out every time just for them to go to the bathroom. So you need to commit to not only the pet, but to being able to do the things that the pet requires, like taking them in and out to go to the bathroom, taking them up and down the elevator if you have an elevator. So It's very successfully done. You just need to make the commitment. If you're thinking, oh my God, I don't want to get up 4, 5 times a day to take my pet out in the wintertime, then maybe a dog isn't for you. Maybe a cat would be a better choice if you're looking at not having to do that in an apartment. A bird, like I said, do your research. Budgies only live for 5 to 7 years, so that's a little bit less commitment than my parrot that, could be with me maybe even longer than I'm here.
Well, I hope that you're here for many decades to come.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll take a break to talk about our sponsors and supporters. Please remember to write to us at info@CooLifeWorld.com. That's info@COOLIFE world. And we will read your comments on a future show. We'll take a break to talk about our sponsors and supporters. We'll be back with more Dawn Drake and pet care talk on CooLife Podcast. Becoming the Small Business Billionaire by Russell T. Dalton. Available on Amazon. Link in the description. $13.95 US. This is your guide to the possibility of making your dreams of generational wealth come true through small business ownership. Change your life and the lives of those you care for. Spiritual Warfare Prayers by John Evans, $13.99 US, available on Amazon. Link in the description. Putting on the spiritual armaments to thrive in this world. These are fresh prayers for today's world. $13.99 US, available on Amazon. See the link in the description. Spiritual Warfare Prayers. Those lonely days of lockdowns and isolation are gone for good. Go to www.therealthingdating.com. That's www.therealthingdating.com. It's time to share. Share your time, share your life, share your love. www.therealthingdating.com. Join for free. Upgrade at any time, starting at just $5.99 a month. www.therealthingdating.com. Because it's time. You're listening to the CooLife Podcast. We'll be back in 3, 2, 1. And we are back on CooLife Podcast. I'm Eva John, and we are continuing our conversation with Dawn Drake. Dawn, for older adults, smaller dog breeds are usually recommended. Can you explain how the right dog can actually improve the physical and emotional health through routine and companionship with a pet owner?
Yeah, having a pet in your life, especially if you're a senior that doesn't have as many visitors as you normally would, or doesn't get out as often as they absolutely should, having a pet stimulates them mentally. It's actually proven just by petting a pet, it raises your serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin levels. It reduces stress, they give companionship.
For families with children, they often want a friendly pet or a breed that is a little bit more adaptable in a family type setting. What would be the best types of pets when you've got small children around?
Especially for small children, a lot of people think that very small dogs are your best option, where actually they're not. There's a lot of small dog injuries just from toddlers, falling on them. Also, their bones break very easy. They want to pick them up, they can drop them. So small dogs really aren't recommended, and they don't seem to have the temperament to put up with children pulling on their ears and wanting to be a little bit more active than the dog actually wants to be. Breeds that are recommended by professionals that are good breeds for dogs are a little bit more hardy, bigger dogs. Always labs, anything with a retriever in it, generally pretty gentle with kids. A golden, Burmese, boxers. These are very friendly, protective breeds if you have children around. Like, not only they won't break as easily as a small dog would, but they can actually be a good source of protection for your kids when they're playing. Let's say in your backyard. We all know that crime is on the rise, and it doesn't take anything for somebody to come in your backyard. So these dogs have proven themselves loyal over time to be good protective family dogs.
Now, for other types of pets that people tend to choose, there's always been a fascination with exotic pets. But what are the realities about choosing an exotic bird or an exotic reptile to be a part of your household?
So, especially with small children, they don't recommend reptiles at all for several reasons. Reptiles can be injured very easily. Reptiles can also spread diseases like salmonella. You're touching the pet, then you're putting your hands in your mouth. So that can be a concern by spreading diseases to young children. Birds, again, with small children, they're going to want to grab them, they're going to want to hold them. Not really a great fit for younger children. Now, if you're talking like 8 and up, yeah, you might be able to get a bird, because at that point they know a little bit more about control, they know a little bit more about being gentle. So a bird at that age would be acceptable. Lizards I still wouldn't recommend, because the husbandry of taking care of lizards is so specific. If you don't have their temperature right, their moisture levels right, if you're not feeding the right foods, lizards can die very easily. And, no one wants their pet to pass away, and it can be upsetting for children too. So,
Mm.
honestly, lizards aren't a good fit. Dogs, cats, things that are tangible is what kids want to be able to touch. If a owner or the parent is allergic to cats and dogs and they still want a pet, maybe an aquarium is a good idea for an older person. Start with something that's easy to take care of, like goldfish. They can work their way up to exotic fish, so it could be a learning experience as well.
Fantastic. And so we're taking a break to talk about our sponsors and supporters. We'll be back with Dawn Drake on CooLife Podcast. Becoming the Small Business Billionaire by Russell T. Dalton. Available on Amazon. Link in the description. $13.95 US. This is your guide to the possibility of making your dreams of generational wealth come true through small business ownership. Change your life and the lives of those you care for. Spiritual Warfare Prayers by John Evans. $13.99 US. Available on Amazon. Link in the description. Putting on the spiritual armaments to thrive in this world. These are fresh prayers for today's world. $13.99 US. Available on Amazon. See the link in the description. Spiritual Warfare Prayers. Those lonely days of lockdowns and isolation are gone for good. Go to www.therealthingdating.com. That's www.therealthingdating.com.
HeAnimalCareWithDawn.com. It's time to share. Share your time, share your life, share your love. www.therealthingdating.com. Join for free. Upgrade at any time, starting at just $5.99 a month. www.therealthingdating.com. Because it's time. This is CooLife Podcast. Please remember to subscribe to CooLife on your streaming service and on YouTube as Hellenique Today. That's HELENIQUE Today. Because that helps us to bring more cool stuff to your ears. You're listening to the CooLife Podcast. We'll be right back.
And we are back on CooLife Podcast. I'm Eva John, continuing my conversation with Dawn Drake, veterinary technician. Dawn, there are concerns about diseases that humans can contract from reptiles. As you were mentioning, now what are the illnesses that humans can actually catch from lizards and other reptiles?
So, Eva, there's other diseases that you can contract from a lizard. One of them, like previously mentioned, is salmonella, which is in the intestines of lizards and spread through their droppings. There's also E. coli and streptococcus that you can catch from them. So if you do decide to get a lizard for your older child, there are some things that you definitely want to make sure that they do. Washing their environment frequently so that droppings do not gather up. And when you're doing that, you want to make sure that you are wearing gloves. And when your lizard's out and you're playing with your lizard, make sure you're not touching your mouth, you're not touching your face, and you're not eating anything like that bowl of chips that's sitting there and you're playing with your lizard and you're snacking on chips. That is definitely not a good idea. When the lizard is out, you would just strictly play with them. Wash your hands immediately after you return them to their environment, and just follow like good husbandry tips from your veterinary to keep yourself and your lizard safe.
Thank you. Now, there was a time, when people would have turtles as pets. I know in a lot of different areas, turtles are banned as being pets. Now, can you talk about some of the reasons why it was necessary to ban access to turtles as a pet?
So, especially in Canada, what was happening is people were just going into the wild and taking turtles out of their natural environment and keeping them as pets, which isn't a good idea because you're removing them from their natural environment, and you could be introducing diseases to your family by just taking an animal out of the wild. So the only lizards that you are allowed to own in Canada would be ones that, say, a pet store imports from a different country, and they fall under other specific guidelines. But if you're just looking to go out and take a lizard out of the or a turtle out of the wild, that is illegal in Canada and just not recommended for the health of your family as well.
Very good to know. So, as cute as they may be, as many cartoons and action adventures that we see starring turtles, it's just not safe and not legal anymore to have them at home as a pet.
Yeah.
Now, Dawn, when someone's getting ready to adopt a pet, what should they be thinking about as far as a plan, an outline for parenting a pet, other than just what the prices are at the pet store?
So I don't believe there's a lot of pet stores that are legally even allowed to sell dogs anymore. So you're pretty much going to a breeder, but the hard thing is it a reputable breeder, or is it just somebody that is breeding their dog and then putting it up on Kijiji for sale, which you don't know the medical history of the parents, the grandparents, anything like that. So always best to stick with a reputable breeder because, unfortunately, I know you mentioned cost, but cost can be an issue down the line, especially with vet care. So you want to make sure you're getting a dog that is a healthy dog so that
Right.
you're just not paying that. Some of the breeders since the pandemic, they want thousands and thousands of dollars for these
Mm.
dogs. And then you have to do their vaccines. They generally come with one set of vaccines. You have two more sets to do, and you have to spay and neuter them. And then, if you can imagine a health problem on top of that, things can get pretty pricey. So I prefer myself to rescue a dog because they do know the dog's history as far as medically, because they make sure in rescues that, your dog has that 4DX test. So they're not coming to you with heartworm or Lyme disease. So that's why if you choose to adopt out of country, you just want to make sure that you're asking the right questions when adopting a dog from the Dominican, like I just did, that did come with 2 tick-borne diseases. Rescuing 2 dogs come vaccinated and spayed and neutered. So you're reducing that cost and you're only paying for the adoption fee. Whereas if you are getting a puppy, you're paying all those costs on top of the sale of the puppy. So you just want to make sure that your lifestyle also matches. If you're getting a puppy, puppies are like kids. They don't come knowing everything. They don't come knowing that they have to go outside. They don't come with manners. As you can see, my little dog sitting here, he still needs to learn some manners because I've only had him for a couple of weeks here. So he's doing well.
Yeah.
But again, he's an older dog. So puppies don't know anything. So you want to make sure that you have that commitment for that puppy so that they're not ending up in a rescue or the SPCA or having to be rehomed someplace else.
Right. Now, just for people to be prepared, can you tell me ballpark in this part of the world with a puppy when you're going to pay for that second round of inoculations of vaccines? What will that cost a family? Just the
So
vaccination.
the second set of vaccines, you're paying for the exam visit, which can vary anywhere from $95 to $140, depending on the vet. You're boostering 1 vaccine, which is your distemper parvo. That vaccine can range anywhere from $35 to $65, depending on the vet. Now, there are 2 optional vaccines that you get at your second set, which are highly, highly recommended because we do have leptospirosis in this area. Leptospirosis is a bacterial infection carried by animals that are in city, like rats, raccoons, possums, things like that. So that is definitely, in my mind, should be a mandatory vaccine. An optional one as well as Lyme disease. Now, if you've been tracking ticks worldwide have become a problem, carrying many tick-borne diseases, which I've explained. My rescue from the Dominican came with 2 of them. So you want to make sure that, in my opinion, you're getting those. Now, those vaccines can vary anywhere from $35 all the way up to $65. And your kennel cough is important as well, which is also given at your second set of vaccines. And that one, again, can range anywhere from $35 to $65. Yeah, and now you're taking into consideration too, we also have a 3rd round of vaccines. And at that round of vaccines, you're boostering, if you got the lepto and Lyme, you're boostering the distemper parvo, lepto, Lyme, and you're getting your rabies at your 4th set of vaccines.
When you've gone in there for the second round of vaccines, at the low end of it, it's 95 and then 35, 35, 35 added together. And that's if you're at the right vet where it's starting at the low end
Yeah.
plus 15% tax. And it's like when you've added that all up, and then there's just a fee to be in there, I guess overall, just be prepared. Put that money aside and be ready
Yeah.
because it's necessary. Your pet's health will suffer without it, and then be ready
Absolutely.
again. Now, how far down the road is round 3 once you've done round 2 of the vaccines for your pet?
3 to 4 weeks. And that's why I say be prepared financially, because people often, okay, well, I've got the second set, but I'm going to push off the third set for, 2 or 3 months. Well, you're boostering the vaccines from the second set. So spreading that out, you're making them less effective. So you need to be on a timely manner. And rabies isn't given till the third set of vaccines, and that's mandatory by law. And there is reported rabies in this area. There was actually a child last year that died from a rabies
Oh, no.
yeah, the first one in Canada in a very long time, but it is here and spreadable from your animal to yourself.
Well, thank you for those very important tips and giving us a realistic idea of what it's going to cost and what a family can be prepared for to plan out how to be ready for those costs and for that kind of care. And with that, we are at the end of the third part of our conversation. And Dawn, can you please remind our listeners and people viewing how to reach you if they have further questions about pet care?
You can email me at AnimalCareWithDawn@hotmail.com.
Thank you. Until next time, I'm Eva John for Cool Life Podcast. Bye.
And that was our show. Thank you for listening to the very end. Please remember to subscribe through your streaming service to get more access to our guest interviews. Also, please subscribe on YouTube to help support our podcast. Until next time, I'm Eva John for CooLife Podcast. Thank you for turning me on.